leaving him an empty husk of a man whose only consolation is his obsession with revenge.
Yeah.
As a woman with values. Just kidding, I'm trash.
Yeah.
The Punisher's main quest is to kill all the mobsters who murdered his family, but once he gets revenge, he can't stop killing, because it's the only thing that gives meaning to his shitty life. So he wages a one-man war on organized crime. But no matter how many bad guys he kills, it's never enough, because new criminals just come along and take the place of the old ones. It's like a cycle where violence begets violence and nothing ever really changes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
What should the consequences be for bad behavior? Who should impose these consequences? And under what circumstances? And for what purpose? If we were to abolish police and prisons, what would take their place? It's a question philosophers have pondered for thousands of years, with no conclusive answers. I think I can probably figure this out in a YouTube video, because the philosophers were dummies, and I am very smart.
Yeah.
View is that justice means harming people who harm people, an eye for an eye. This is called retributive justice, the idea that people who commit crimes deserve punishment in proportion to their crime. It's a very emotionally powerful idea of what justice is, because it's rooted in our instinct to strike back at someone who's harmed us. If another monkey in your monkey troop steals your bananas and you don't get revenge, then other monkeys will learn. Then that sends a message to the other monkeys that it is not profitable to mess with you. So our little monkey brains have evolved a taste for vengeance. There's a lot of content out there devoted to scratching this itch. Dress for the job you want. When the righteous zeal for justice becomes the cloak of bloodlust, that is off-putting to some people. He just cannot believe that he's actually facing consequences for this. The reason that video was so popular is people just enjoyed watching an Nazi get what he deserves. Justice served is the pleasure we take in inflicting or witnessing the suffering of someone who deserves it.
It puts the lotion on its skin, yeah.
Revenge is such a popular plotline because it's easy for people to identify with a revenge-seeking protagonist, and it's just the easiest way to hype people up about spectacles of violence. Yikes. Disappointing. It isn't a good look. Wow, this blew up. Give me money. They were basically just rude to Odysseus. But I guess you have to understand this kind of thing in cultural context. They came into his home, and they disrespected his wife, and probably she was into it, but whatever, we'll play along. So that was an affront to Odysseus's honor, was everything. Because this was a pre-legal society. No laws, no courts, no cops. So honor is a code of conduct enforced by reputation, and that's what kept people from stealing and lying and murdering each other. If you're an ancient Mycenaean king, and someone invites themselves into your house and drinks your wine and seduces your wife, well, you can't let them get away with that, because then people will walk all over you. So you need to get revenge to protect your honor, to maintain your reputation as a person who is not to be messed with. It's also the point of hard masculinity in honor cultures. Hard masculinity is a defensive posture, an intimidating posture. It showcases strength and hides vulnerability. We call it toxic masculinity now because in our society, it's destructive and dysfunctional. We've moved beyond the need for this, which is why it's possible for me to exist. If society collapses and we go back to Achilles and Odysseus, I'm in danger.
Extremely sad gay sounds. Yeah.
Gangsters who need to resolve conflicts outside of the law, or Wild West cowboys, hard masculinity has a function. It's a warning signal.
I am very smart, yeah.
An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind, didn't you know that? In Albania, there's an ancient code called the canon, which requires a family to commit murder in order to preserve their honor when another family offends against them. Life for life, blood for blood. This historically led to blood feuds between families that could last for generations.
Extremely happy trans sounds, uwu.
Most were compelled to I know that, sweaty. It was just a joke, okay? Calm down. Revenge cycles also happen on a larger scale. Nations, ethnicities, religions. I'm worried if I give a real example, I'll be canceled for seeming neutral about a conflict where I'm supposed to take a side, so in the interest of cowardice,
extremely angry gay sounds, yeah.
Something has to be done to control the chaos caused by vengeance. And the most popular way to do that is to create a state legal system. As the organization with a monopoly on the legitimate use of violence, we don't deserve rights. If a freed man strike the body of another freed man, he shall pay 10 shekels in money. But if the slave of a freed man strike the body of a freed man, his ear shall be cut off. Oh, so there's different punishments for different classes. So it's like our legal system, except honest. It does not pass the vibe check. The vibrations are very negative. It's a lot of cutting people's hands off and burning them alive. Just a major vibe killer all around. Instead of retaliating against their family and potentially starting a generations-long blood feud, you take your grievance to the elders of the city, who reach a verdict and impose a sentence, justice served. And it's also consistent, so different offenders are supposed to get the same punishment for the same crime. I mean, unless you're rich, in which case, don't you even worry your little head about it. Just, there are supposed to be these differences between revenge and retributive justice, which is why it's so inappropriate for law enforcement to identify with the outlaw Punisher. I feel that retributive justice is still spiritually akin to revenge. It scratches the same emotional itch. It's basically revenge by proxy. There's a kind of aesthetic dimension to this, an appreciation for the symmetry of punishment and crime. There's something metaphysically pleasant about poetic justice, this sense of beautiful cosmic harmony. And my guess is that this way of thinking originates in some primeval human instinct that's difficult to get rid of. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't question it. And the main love and forgiveness guy is a preachy lib you may have heard of called Jesus of Nazareth.
Welcome to Cowgirl Bible Study, Nia. Extremely devotional gay sound, Zulu.
I feel very spiritually aroused right now. Denying the right of marginalized people to defend themselves? Rethink this. Jesus says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Love your enemies? But I don't want to love my enemies. No loving, smashing. But maybe this is not pacifism. This is passive aggression. In the absence of justice, forgiveness is an emotional unburdening of the resentment and anger that victims of injustice experience. And religion often provides this release, instructing people not to worry too much about serving earthly justice, because justice is really God's business, and He'll take care of that when the day of judgment comes. You reap what you sow, basically, so maybe don't worry about injustice too much, because karma will take care of it. This kind of thinking is sometimes called the just world fallacy, the cognitive bias that sees the world as inherently fair and good. Everything happens for a reason. People reassure themselves like this because it relieves the stress of enduring unresolved injustice. Why do bad things happen to good people? And the answer is, just don't worry about it. It's part of God's plan. It'll all work out in the end. It's fine. Everything's fine. The alternative is being burdened with the awareness that the world is just kind of very not good, in which case you might start getting ideas in your head about, I don't know, maybe changing some things. Utilitarian reformists have argued that the goal of criminal justice should be to improve society, rather than punishment for punishment's sake. A lot of people consider these utilitarian goals to be more rational and scientific than retribution, which is very based in emotions. Also, the utilitarian idea of justice makes sense even if you don't believe in free will, because retribution really only makes sense if you believe that people freely choose their actions and are therefore culpable for their behavior and can be deserving of punishment. Because punishing someone for something they didn't meaningfully choose seems, well, ordering the sea to be whipped with 300 lashes after a storm destroyed his bridge. It's debatable how free humans are, like we're at least partially products of our genetics, our environment, our upbringing, and modern criminal sentencing tries to take all of that into consideration. Like, you might get a lighter sentence if you argue that, your mother never took you to Disneyland. Prisons are called correctional facilities and not retribution cages. These facilities are not doing very much correcting. I'm sorry. While it's very rational, it's often offensive to human emotions. And you can say facts don't care about your feelings, we shouldn't be basing our legal system on whatever sadistic caprice passes through your mind, and this disconnect between the legal system and human emotion affects law enforcement too. Don't worry about uniforms, inspections, or restrictive rules of engagement. Find the bad guys, kill the bad guys, protect the innocent. Any true warrior? That's the dream. There's all these tedious roadblocks: right to an attorney, right to remain silent, right to a fair trial, presumption of innocence. In fact, people of all races have the absolute right to be low-life, drug-addicted petty criminals who contribute absolutely nothing to society and yet still not be executed by the cops, because that's what it's supposed to mean to live in a free country. The Punisher police have got to go, and a lot of the rest of our justice system with them. We need to imagine a whole new approach to justice. I lied. I'm sorry that I can't fix America.